Mad Lofa in a Bull Deezy. Today we're gonna be working with the Weeknd, Playboi Carti, What a Lie. But we're gonna be focusing on the Weeknd's vocals, especially on the intro there. Let us play these vocals, then I'll just explain everything as always.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl. Truth is we lacking, they want us gone. Truth is they can't handle me at the time. I'd rather show you the details, my love. Oh, I'd rather lie to lose you.
Yes, sir. These vocals were tracked without any plugins. Let me just turn off everything so you can hear the sound I got from tracking. I won't turn off the autotune. The key of this track is C minor. Retune speed, I cranked it all the way up to 0. Make sure you use low latency here. Yeah, let us listen to the vocals with autotune only.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl. Truth is we lacking, they want us gone. Truth is they can't handle me at the time.
So those are the vocals with autotune only. The first thing I did, went up the built-in EQ here in FL Studio just to roll off 149 hertz.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl.
After that, we got the clariphonic, just adding some clarity to these vocals.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl. Truth is we lacking, they want us.
After the clariphonic, I went for the studio rec. That's where I'm doing a lot of processing. I'm gonna bypass everything. We got the NS1, stemming some background noise.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl.
Yes, sir. Then I got the Arvox, just compressing a little bit.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you.
Nothing huge, just a little bit. Then I went for the CL1B. I wanted to introduce some warmth and glue to these vocals. These are the settings.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl. Truth is we lacking, they want us gone.
This plugin can glue your vocals in a better way and it can introduce a very good warm sound. So I love this plugin. Then I got the Sharp 73. You can use the 1073 or the one from Arturia. These are the settings. I'm boosting here, rolling off the low end here, and I'm also boosting here.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl. Truth is we lacking, they want us gone.
Yes, sir. That's the Sharps. Then I went for the NLS channel. Wanted to get the spike.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl.
After that, we got the CLA2A, just compressing these vocals very hard.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl. Truth is we lacking, they want us gone.
And this thing is gonna push your vocals in your face and it's gonna add some kind of saturation, just a little bit of the tone. It's a very good plugin if you know it very well. You're gonna learn it because it sometimes introduces some low end. So you gotta compensate with some EQs when you're using this plugin. It's a very useful one. Then I got a de-esser here.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather
Controlling the vocals. Then we got the parallel splits where I'm adding more plugins. Let me just bypass the reverb. I got the SSL E channel using the filter to roll off 80 hertz. And I'm also rolling off 12 on the high end. I'm just boosting 16, 1 dB. Then removing 61, -6, utilizing the compressor here to push the vocals in your face.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl.
Yes, sir. Then we got the NS1 taming some background noise. After that, I went for the C6. On this one, I wanted to control the low end and push the mid range, control some harsh frequencies, especially on the high end, and boost the top end while I'm still controlling it. I wanted that frequency, but I utilized the threshold to dip it down as I'm getting some harsh frequencies. As the harsh frequencies are popping, the threshold would control that. I'm also removing this and removing this.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl.
Yes, sir. Then we got the vocal wider. Just wanted to clue the vocals without any distortion.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl.
After that, we got the de-esser.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl.
Just warming up the vocals. Then we got this reverb bass.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl.
This is a default preset. This plugin is very underrated. This plugin, this reverb can introduce some saturation, some nice saturation. So I love this plugin, man.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl.
After that, got some basses. Got the Oxford inflator enhancer. These are the settings. Then I got a de-esser, just controlling the inflator. Then I'm blending it in.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl.
Without it.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl.
So it's pushing my vocals and giving some saturation. Then you got the push bass. Using the white 2A, you can use the CLA 2A. Then I got the black 76. You can use the 1176. I'm using the L1 limiter just to chop the peaks. Then I got this plugin from Baby Audio, just pushing it and giving that saturation. Let us listen to that.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse.
Very good. Then we got a reverb bass. I'm using an EOS 2 just to get that big spacey reverb.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl. Truth is we lacking, they wanna score.
Then we got a simple delay, just using the edge delay and the sound godizer just to give it some character on the high end.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl. Truth is we lacking, they wanna score.
Let us play the whole thing with the mix.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl. Truth is we lacking, they wanna score. Truth is they can't handle me at the time. I'd rather show you the details, my love. Oh, I'd rather lie to lose you.
And that's how you can mix your vocals like the Weeknd on Rather Lie. Yes, sir. My love is out. I'm going to make sure I leave the link of this template down below. D'accord.